So JJK chapter 270 has officially been translated, and I want to go over it and see if we missed anything from the leaks, because there's a lot of stuff going on in this chapter, so let's get into it. So the chapter begins with Megumi and Shoko at Tsumiki's grave, and Megumi says thank you to Shoko, and Shoko says even if all that's left is cremation, it's worth it to make it look nice. She says my actions making her look pretty in the afterlife is all the thanks that I need, and she says do not worry about it. And Shoko says that Gojo should have let her handle Geto's body, and Megumi says you can say that again, and then Shoko starts imitating Gojo, and she says not that I believe in the afterlife anyway. Then Megumi leaves, and then Shoko goes to smoke a cigarette, but then she just throws it in the trash. Then we hear Gakuganji say the previously consumed Tengen was found in Sukuna's remains. And then Urahime says what's gonna happen to all the barriers that are across Japan, and Gakuganji says they should stay up as long as we preserve Sukuna, and they say that's relief. Then Urahime says we need to put in these contingencies for these barriers, but then Gakuganji says no need to be hasty, y'all are still so young. Then we see Kamo in the next panel with his mom and his brother, and Gakuganji says you needn't worry about this just yet. And then we see Maki, and she says delivery, and she throws this sword at this guy, and we see that it's our boys Dido and Mio. Maki says now that the Culling Games is over, we need to figure out what to do with the incarnated sorcerers like y'all. We'll probably use Hana and Yuji to remove the cursed objects from the victims' bodies. She says we can't let you go as exceptions even if you are friendly, but you didn't hear this from me. She says since sorcery has been announced in Japan, they are gathering a bunch of curses in a specific location, and that's where she would hide out. Dido says that means he'll have a bunch of beasts to cut down, but Mio says that sounds like no fun. Maki says do whatever you want, but this is the last time I'm watching your back, so scram. And then he says Maki, when it's my time to die, you better be there, I'll cut you down. And she laughs, and then we cut to our favorite mangaka, Charles. And he says magazines should remain physical because it gives the author good feedback. And Charles says that newcomers should have their work right next to veterans at least once, and then this guy says, you have a better tale to tell? And Charles says he's a manga artist whose art sucks. And this guy says, you just better hurry up, bro, they don't wait around for pros either. Then we cut to Takaba, and he says it's fine to have your dirty jokes, but we don't have to have those jokes. And he says, sure, we talk about inappropriate jokes, but we need to keep it more right here. And then this mysterious man says, isn't that the same thing? Like I've been saying, those are completely different. Have you been listening? Then Takaba says, let's go rehearse this. And then the mysterious man says, hey, don't say that in public. But then Takaba's like, did you think what I said was dirty? And then we cut to Amai, and he's confronting the kid he used to bully. He apologizes to him, and he bows his head, but then he looks up, but the kid just walked away, and Amai wanted to fix things. And then we cut to Higuruma, and he said in the past that he wanted to be charged for killing those people, but right here, they said that he's not going to be charged. The new Jujutsu higher-ups are not going to let him get charged because they want him to be a sorcerer and work for them. And there's going to be a retrial for Higuruma, and this is his lawyer, and he says, I'm counting on you. And then we see Angel, and she tells Hana that Megumi remembers what Sukuna did to her. And then we see Megumi talking to Hana, and he says, what's there to be embarrassed about? But she says, shut it. Megumi says, I want to take responsibility for my actions. And Megumi says, let me be your right arm from now on, Kurusu. But then Hana's like, do I hear wedding bells? And then Megumi's shocked, and he's like, that's not what I meant. I will talk to you later. Then this woman comes home from work, and she talks to her boyfriend, and she says, do you want to go out tonight? And he's like, yeah, that's a great idea. But then we see his face, and he just looks crazy. And then we see Ajichi, and he starts talking about this dude's case, and he says 2 weeks ago, this dude's fiance said that his face looked like it was morphing. And Megumi says it doesn't look like that to him, and Yuji says it looks like a dude who's trying to become a pro wrestler. He's like, you're ripped, dude, what's your secret? And he's like, I worked out till I was in high school. And they figure out instead of him being cursed, it's actually the fiance. And Obara takes her away for her to get checked up on. Megumi says it wasn't a cursed spirit who was doing that to that woman, it's most likely because of the residue, and that residue is most likely coming from a cursed user. And he says he can't sense any intent to kill, maybe it's an awakened player from the Culling Game. And then Yuji says, so this is a cursed user harassment, right? The three of us can take them, and this is the end of the chapter. This was a good chapter. Gege was just wrapping up a bunch of characters' endings for us, and he did a good job. And it looks like the last chapter is going to be a mission for the OG3. But yeah, it was a pretty good one, guys. Let me know what you think.